Education is a systematic approach to everything you do. So with education, it actually helps you to shape your community or your society better. So that is what education does for us.
Education is not in one sector. You are homeschooled. Education depends on everybody and everything. Everything educates you.
Yes.
So it's knowledge.
Yes.
In a way, it's knowledge, but I feel it's not 100% knowledge, especially here in Africa, especially here in Nigeria. Because there was one question I wanted to skip, and it's off the book, and I talked about it. Does education system in Nigeria prepare you for everyday life?
We always say that every day of our life, or every day is a new chapter to our life, right?
Yes.
That means we learn every day. So well, if you put it like a formal setting of education, it's not a formal setting of education, but it's more like an informal setting of education. So every day that you learn, you are learning new things. So there's no human being that wake up retarded or being stuck in one place. So you learn every day to be able to improve on your previous.
Spotlight TV, the voice, the impact, the vision.
Hello everybody, you're welcome to Spotlight TV. I am your host for today, Gordon Jimo. And with me is a spectacular guest. We're here with Mr. Elijah Oboran. Today on Spotlight TV, we have one of the most intriguing topics, speaking about the education sector, one that entangles the life that decides the future of our Nigerian youth. And speaking on that, there's a lot going on in Nigeria, where in Africa, in the world, where you see certificate is no longer the base point of success. Certificate is not more a key to success. Education is no more a key to success. You're not seeing the sector, and it's taking both my mind and a lot of millions of youths' mind off, because I can remember growing up, you hear key to success is education, and today with that, it seems like it's no more the key to success. So I would love to render some few questions to you. And my first question goes like this today. In Nigeria, first class graduates can be jobless.
Yes.
Yes, in Nigeria, first class graduates can be jobless. And you see a skill or a POS owner earning over 200K. So I want to know more. Is it that the education or the certificate is not working anymore?
Basically, from what you just asked, the question you just asked, talking about how education or how knowledge work in education and how paper also work in education. Actually, it's a very interesting question, and it has been a problem in our society, especially in Nigeria here, particularly because the situation whereby you see somebody go through the drills of school from his primary down to secondary and down to university level, and at the end of the day he has achieved or attained all the certificate that he needed to get him qualified to start working. But at the end of the day, you find out that that same person is working from one company to another with those papers and is not being given the job. And it's a very sad situation. Meanwhile, talking about knowledge is also a very important aspect also to consider, uh, which from the question is whether the knowledge has gained more value than the certificate. Actually, the question is actually not very bad because knowledge is important and same as certificate is important. But you cannot actually achieve that knowledge without actually passing through or getting those certificates before you can be able to get the knowledge. Because it's through the school that you're able to get the knowledge. So somebody that actually go through the school should have actually been able to or have the competence to be able to do whatever is taught to do. So knowledge actually is an advantage, but certificate also should be an advantage. But sometimes they say that there's a proverb that normally says that when the use of a particular thing is not known, the abuse is what inevitable. Yes. So that is what happened to the paper. The abuse of the paper is becoming more of it than the reality that it should be, because a lot of advanced countries today are also making use of certificates. There's those advanced countries that want to get a well-paid job that you know that they will not demand or require your certificate before they can be able to issue their job. Now, but in another scenario, sometimes just like I said, the abuse of a thing can be as a result of the lack of knowledge about that particular thing. Let's say a first class graduate, just like the question said, graduated, and at the end of the day, he's jobless. That means he's still seeking for job. Maybe years, first year, second year, third year, and he's still seeking for jobless. And somebody that graduate or probably have no certificate at all, started a POS business, and at the end of the day, he's making his money and he's living his life. Everything is going well for him, and he's achieving the lifestyle that he actually wanted to achieve.
Yes.
And which is not supposed to be so. Now, in those two scenarios, situation like that can also is of this time. At least they should be able to go on, carry out an internship program, or probably build up their skills, develop their skill personally. And as the process of developing their skills personally, they can be able to at least attain that level of success they are dreaming to be. Because sometimes, most times too, is as a result of orientation regarding white collar job that actually kills our mentality on the use of this our paper, which talking about certificate itself. Yes, because the abuse when you don't really know why you have those paper, you might not really know how to go make use of those paper also.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So if you have the paper and you because for you to have those paper, you know that you must have passed through some level of training for you to have those paper. Let's take for example somebody that studied accounting for that matter, or for instance, okay, you study accounting and you graduate as an accountant, and it is hard for you to get a job. You can be able to start up a business because you have a business knowledge behind you. And from that little business, you can be able to start. Before you know it, develop networking and probably going out for internship, going to taking out free courses. Before you know, you can be able to expand your business and also do it extra and extra well. Because it is so certain that somebody that actually master a particular skill and somebody that just jump into the skill is when they are going to operate, their operation is going to be different and their level of success is going to be definitely different too. So when you have a certificate, you are trained and you are given a certificate, you are expected to perform either with or without no job. Yes.
I think Nigeria should up in the skill aspect because it's telling us one direction, showing me one direction now on your words. It's saying in the educational sector,
Yes.
they should have a skill acquisition in it.
Yes.
That's one of your major contribution.
Yes.
So that's one of the major concentration because in accounting it's a different software containing when it comes to the POS, if I'm to speak. Yes. So but it's the same thing.
Yes.
But for having the promises of Nigeria, when you're going to school, there's a lot of promises.
Yes.
When you have degrees, someone that had masters,
Yes.
There's this charisma of saying to go and do a POS. I would think it would be a low level for a person. So what you are saying is it doesn't matter. Build yourself gradually to a point where you can be sustainable to get what you have actually studied.
Yes.
So I like that point. But on my second question, I would go.
And also, please let me just add to that a little. Also, I met with a friend recently, and we're having a random discussion, and he worked with the DHL. I don't know if you know about the DHL. They are into logistics and transportation internationally. So he's a manager at DHL here in Nigeria, and we're talking, and he was saying something how the DHL work and how it started and everything. So he actually has good knowledge about it because he worked there, and he was telling me, and I was listening to him, and he told me that DHL actually started in America by three friends, sorry. So the D stand for one of the friend, the H stand for another friend, then the L stand for another. So those are the three friends that actually started the company. And how they actually started the company was funny because the three of them were competent in their own different fields. Two are financially stable somehow to some level, then one was not financially stable, but their ends to their means was not coming up as it should be, because those two that were financially stable to some extent were just doing menial job in America then. But along the line, one of them came on like, we can't just survive with this, and we know that we are good in this, we are good in sales, we are good in logistics, we can be able to deliver things, because when the very one that actually brought the idea work with a restaurant within the city. So we normally hand over food, deliver food to people at home, in the offices and other places, or they come by the people cause the render such kind of thing. So say that why not expand or venture into such kind of business? So that was how he collaborated with his friend and they started it. So they start doing the business, start distributing things, and on their own part, they say that they can actually deliver anything to you. So it's not just limiting their self to just food alone. So they deliver anything at all. So if, for example, now you bought a phone and you needed to take it there, give it to your brother that is in another part of Nigeria, which are other states, you can easily take it to their office and they can take it there successfully. And once it's received, your payment also justify what you have just done also. So that was how the company actually grew till the company is all over more than 50 to 60 partners everywhere. Yes, in the world now. So it is how it is, because you have to, especially when you find yourself in society where everything are not as you were told. You understand? Because while growing up, just like you say, there's story that get to school, get certificate, and at the end of the day, get the work, and the work will be setting for you. But sometimes it might not be as it is, because the reality is always obvious. Yes. Now imagine finishing school and you went for a company interview, successful performances and everything. Because of population, they just decide to select few, and you are not lucky enough to be among the few. What will you do? You have to think outside the box at that moment. So that is where it is regarding understanding how the paper itself work and how the knowledge itself also work.
All right. From what you just said, there's another point of view that came out. I will keep that as a key factor, but not to deviate from our question for today.
Yes.
Our next question says, if WAEC and university certificates were cancelled for 1 year, would the Nigeria industry, would it collapse or it will improve?
Okay. So we are talking about Nigeria industry, we are talking about the manufacturing industry, right?
Exactly.
Good. So, well, it's an interesting question. So, if WAEC or certificate itself is scrapped, would those industries survive?
Yes, with the Nigeria industry, come to think about it, it is not the educational sector that is helping Nigeria.
Okay.
It's the daily life of everybody. Check the farming sector, they are different. The only aspect of where I feel the Nigerian sector is helping us is in the interaction level, whereby you need to be educated to talk to some people, the communication level, which is very, very good. But if you check the biggest artists, the richest people out here, most of them are not as much as it seems.
Yes.
Imagine you hear an undergraduate becoming billionaire, trillionaires of today. You see most of the prominent businessmen that didn't go to school, the Igbos, especially the Igbos, most of them didn't go to school, and they are doing very fine. And there's a lot of graduates out there that went through the system, read the books, read the laws, and they are not getting to the point where they can say they are financially stable.
Okay.
So that's my point. Is the Nigerian industry, will it collapse or will it improve?
Actually, I will first of all give a straightforward answer before I also expatiate. Okay.
Yes.
So, to my own straightforward answer, and I'll have to be honest, my own personal opinion, Nigerian industry will collapse. Yes. Yes. And yes, because education is like a backbone to every community.
Yes.
Yes. No matter how small or how big any society is, it needs education.
Yeah.
Because if there is no education, the modernity and the level of civilization or the level of art or display of the human in that particular environment will not meet the modern standard of every humanity. So that is what education can do, and that is a major role that education does in every society. Grabbing education entirely from the Nigeria system will actually collapse the Nigeria in every sector, both manufacturing, education, and any other sector, but even in government. Yes. So that is it. But in the other case, or in the other hand, if with those education still, just like you say, some people are also still making it without education. Some people are also making it. You understand? Because just like you said, in instance of musician, artists, they can easily make it, or other industries that are also doing well, they are also growing successfully without the education itself. But check it. No matter how those artists is, they have gone through education. Education have shaped them in one way or the other. Yes, either directly or indirectly. They must have come in contact with education one way or the other. I think the problem we have with our educational system in Nigeria is that we don't have a serious concentration on them. You understand? We don't have a serious concentration on them in the sense that we don't really put our education to priority. We just take the education like any other sector in Nigeria, just like the government sector in Nigeria. That you can just decide to run anyhow and just get away with it anyhow too. But education is not run that way. Education is a systematic approach to everything you do. So with education, it actually helps you to shape your community or your society better. So that is what education does for us.
Yeah. That's a very good one, and I do agree with you. If I have to think from a point of view, yes, because education is not in one sector. You are homeschooled. From education depends on everybody and everything. Everything educates you. So it's knowledge. In a way, it's knowledge, but I feel it's not 100% knowledge, especially here in Africa, especially here in Nigeria, because there was one question I wanted to skip, and it's off the book, and I thought about it. Does education system in Nigeria prepare you for everyday life?
I believe we always say that every day of our life, or every day is a new chapter to our life, right?
Yes.
That means you learn every day. So well, if you put it like a formal setting of education, it's not a formal setting of the education, but it's more like an informal setting of education. So every day that you learn, you are learning new things. So there's no human being that wake up retarded or being stuck in one place. So you learn every day to be able to improve on your previous. Okay. So that is how education works too. Yes.
It's true. It's true, because when I had to ask that question, because the everyday life involves so many challenges.
Yes.
Which the education sector, because growing a child, especially in Nigeria,
yes,
from small you are taught to go to school. Majority of your life, you don't even spend it at home.
Yes.
You spend almost 8 hours in school.
Yeah.
Education system, and it's too combined, to combust. Education system, you have to do like 9 courses, 12 courses from growing up. Then it goes to 9, then it goes to 6. Then the YX section is like, the education system in Nigeria is too combust, and is one that is of a critical problem to Nigerians, because even growing up as a student, it was very, very hard for me to decide where to stay from, either science or art, or how to find where you belong truly.
Yes.
And Nigerian system believes you have to do everything, then decide where you have. But serving 2 masters, you have no end. You definitely not going to be. You're a junkie. You're just going to hop around without learning anything at the end of the day. But what you said is true. It's true. In a way, you learn every day. So I would go with that. And going to our next questions, this is one that is very, very crucial. It says certificate of occupants is for land.
Okay.
And it says degree certificate is for jobs. But many of Nigerians have certificates for both land and job, and are still struggling. What is missing between the papers and success?
Okay. Well, that's nice too, because most people have certificates, which is educational certificate, and also most of them also have certificate for occupancy, which is for acquisition of land.
Yes.
Now, what is the missing link between these two certificates? I believe that was the question, right?
Yes.
Good. And to me, the missing link between those two certificates is the information. Because in economics, basically there's what we call factors of production, if I could remember very well, where you have land, labor, capital. Then these are the 3 factors of production, because you have to have a land, you have to have laborers, you have to have capital. But with time, they find out that these are not just enough. You have to have information.
Yes.
And information actually overshadows the remaining 3. You can have land, you can have capital, and you can have labor. So, and if you don't have information, all those things can lie in your hand and it will be wasted. Yes. So that is why information is the missing link between whether you have a certificate for land or whether you have certificates for that can earn you a job. And if you have these two certificates and you don't have the proper information that you actually need to have, you might to be successful, you might end up going nowhere. So personally, I feel information is the missing link between those things, those two certificates that are being acquired by most of Nigeria. And the reason why most things like that happen is because most people are carried away by material things, and instead of pursuing futuristic investment, if people always want to crave, I want to have this, I want to have that, I want to have this, they always go for what they can actually have. You understand? But why not think of what you can make out of those things you actually have too? Yes, because because everything you just like most people that, or let's say lives of billionaire. I think I come across a situation whereby I was told that billionaires don't really live as we live, or like an average person. Why? Because everything they live on credit. Okay, let me bring a scenario of a person like Elon Musk. At a point that Elon Musk actually wanted to buy was it Twitter? Twitter, or I think it's Twitter or Instagram from one of those owners then. So he needed to make payment billions in dollars, and they asked him to make payments, and he said that he doesn't have money. It was as rich as anything at that time, but he said he doesn't have money. But at the end of the day, he actually bought the whole company though. And how did he bought it? He actually lent money and pay for the what is it called, the product, and at the end of the day, the money he borrowed, he told them that the money should be retrieved from his own debt, his own investment that has been in on ground. Wow. So them, they don't live the kind of life we live, but we like a normal average person, we have our mentality is just to have, save, eat, and just live the life. You alone. And that is a limited lifestyle. And that kind of lifestyle can actually ruin you in this modern time. Basically, yes, it can actually ruin you in this modern time, because if you don't have that mentality where you need to have that zeal or that passion to be able to chase knowledge so that you can be able to get every little thing you are doing right, you might end up always hustling or working every day, and at the end of the day you are getting nothing. You can acquire all the land that are available in the whole of Abuja or the whole of Nigeria, but if you don't really know how the knowledge to be able to manage it, you might end up having nothing. Yes, because for instance, there was a time a real estate mogul at one point, he said that he goes to buy land, and as of when they were at their low prices, and when you buy those lands, people were like most places you buy those land, people, these are like typical area, but what he sees behind those land is the future investment of the land. And the future investment of the land is that in the next 10 years, the next 20 years, modernization, or let's say urbanization, will get to those particular places, because they bought those lands very close to the city, but a little bit out of the city. Now, when you bought those lands, people were like, why are you buying this kind of land at this moment? And it was just being mute. But at this time, after 10 years, after 20 years, you find out that he was selling those land that he bought in 30,000, 40,000, he was selling them in millions. 10, 20 million, 40 million, and at the end of the day, he was making his money. So it's all about having the foresight. Let me put it that way. Basically, it's all about having the foresight in everything you do, whether you are achieving your land certificate, or the way you put it, you have a land certificate or you have a certificate per se for job. At least, why are you having those? Why should you have those certificates? And if at all you have those certificates, what necessary information do you actually need for those certificates to become a reality, to become an income to you?
It's not just about having it. It's about,
because I'm not cutting you short. There was there was a man. He said that he was a full-time pastor and also he was a consultant, and he was doing those work simultaneously. But he know he has passion for consultancy, especially education consultancy. But there's a limitation. The moment people know that he's a pastor, they're like giving the respect of a pastor. But his passion is to be a consultant, and that consultancy is what actually will give him the reinvestment that he actually wanted. And you know that he's good in it. And what did he do? He has all the certificate, he has all the paper. But when they will recommend it and they introduce him, please, that guest speaker is the pastor, the people will just look down and just he's a pastor. We don't need to push too much business on him. So with time, he understand that it was the pastorship that was cutting his view. He has to tell them that anytime you introducing me, don't introduce me as a pastor. Introduce me as doctor, because actually he's a doctorate degree holder.
Wow.
So he said, introduce me as a doctor. After he did that, he saw drastic change. He said, okay, if actually this is what has been hindering me, because he has gotten an information that actually has aided those certificates. He has those certificates before, but now he has seen an information that actually give him the advantage to make investment of those certificates. Another limitation was after he was writing, most publication he was trying to push and make sales, it was not coming as it is. And at a point, so what is causing this problem? And before you know, he make research, he found out that most bestsellers that are sellers that he bought their books to read, they are not as good, or it's not something that they are doing that he cannot do. So at the end of the day, he sat down to himself and he analyzed what is going on, and he found out that their references is what is giving them the advantage. What he did was that he had to go and apply for a 2-week, 3 week course in the University of Harvard. And when he applied for the course, and he was there in the university, and the moment the professor he wrote one of the theses, and when the professor saw it, he was impressed. And when they called him, he told them, I was the one that wrote it. And the white man was wow at that moment. He was wow. And at the end of the day, when he graduated after that 2-3 weeks course, he wrote it. He said that the book he published, he actually wrote the book previously before he started the course, so that the moment he finished the course, he now have to put in his reference or in his biography that he is a graduate of Harvard University. And not only that, his references is not carrying recommendation from professors from Harvard University. So the moment people pick his book and saw he's a graduate of Harvard University, and also he has references, comments that professors from Harvard University is making comment in his own book, it gives the market sales. Yes. And it was generating the income. The book make millions of sales simultaneously. So that is how it is. Basically, every certificate, whether no matter how it is, or every skill, because it is certificates that prompt you to be skillful in nature. So every skill you actually have, you need to be able to seek information. You understand? Because the moment you feel you have the certificate, then let me relax, it will go down. In fact, even yourself personally, your brain will roast. Because if you just achieve the certificate and say, okay, I've gotten the certificate, everybody should be looking for me, then it's not going to work that way. So that is what I see.
This is a very good breakdown. I think most people would be enlightened by what you said, because you've really broken to the aspect where even I was surprised, because when you were speaking, I was like, wow. So it's not about only getting it. You have to have your own major plans. You have to invest in your plans, and not only investing, you need the associations, you need the right information, which means you need to indulge with people. So it's a very good one. And speaking about that certificate of 18, our next question talks about fake certificate sellers are big businesses in Nigeria, in the sense that there are a lot of business where people run NGOs, run business whereby these are fake sellers of certificate that won't take you anywhere. And because of maybe their popularity or something, it will sell faster, or based on who they are, it will sell faster. But why does demand for fake paper exist if knowledge is what matters the most?
All right, thank you so much. This is a situation of the society. Let me put it that way, because sometimes society can decide to make some things that are abnormal to be normal. Yes. And what I mean by that is that fake certificate is an illegal thing, and it is not something that should be welcome in any environment or in any society. But the society has made it look like it's a normal thing, and that is the reason why it is now looking normal, especially in Nigeria. Yes, and for you to take a certificate, it's not only those people that do NGO or any other this thing.
The
Schools is
running accreditations that
yes,
are not.
yes, accredited centers, educational centers also perform those activities also.
Yes.
So if they can encourage it, so imagine somebody giving somebody a master or a degree certificate while he has not passed through the 4 years of learning or the 3 years of learning that particular course or that particular course of that certificate. Don't you know that is a disaster in the hand of that person?
Yes, in the
It's
future.
it's more like giving a gun to a civilian that is not trained to be a military man or a soldier, and are sending him to war. And when he goes there, he's going to what? Cause disaster to people and to himself.
Yes, it's true. He might even kill his own fellow soldiers.
Yes, yes,
His own fellow civilians.
yes. So that is how this thing is now, because this certificate is, we all know that it's not a good thing and it's not a legal thing, but the society doesn't really see it as anything. They kind of encourage it, let me put it that way, because how can you can see from most of our, it is everywhere in the news, most of our politicians, where you see that some of them don't even have secondary school certificate, or they don't even have and at the end of the day they forge a certificate to get into those offices. And you find out that the level of expectation of their activities or performances that we will be putting on them to perform will not be met, because they can't actually be competent in those offices. And before you can be able to be competent in those offices, you have to actually pass through the rudiments of the educational system. Yes. And at the end of the day, you end up having poor leadership or poor production people in the society, or every other sector that you employ such kind of person, you end up getting disaster in those kind of places instead of achieving results. Because somebody that is professionally trained and being satisfied at the end of the day with a certificate, you don't, no matter how it is, his performances will be an excellent to an extent. Yes, yes, yes. He will definitely do the job to his best of his knowledge, and even the best of his knowledge too will be much more improved than somebody that has not actually passed through any rudiments of the training and is just giving the certificate for him to just go and operate. And at the end of the day, disaster will happen. So that is the major problem that has to do with that, my own perspective.
Yes, that's a very good word, and I think you've broken it down, because it's the truth. It's the majority of what is happening, especially in our political sector.
Yeah,
this is happening now. It's killing us.
Yeah.
And I should use this medium to say, get your PVC. It's very, very important. Your vote counts. Your vote counts. It matters. It matters. Your future is in your hands.
Yeah.
And speaking about that, let's go further. We should say there's one particular topic I brought in the other time when I was doing my introduction.
Okay.
But it says, company says we need experience, not just certificates.
Yeah.
But how can a graduate get the experience when you know he's just coming outside? Like, this boy is good. He knows what he's saying.
Yes.
His books are to date. His certificates are up. This is an excellent student.
Yeah.
But you are telling him he needs a 2 years, 3 years experience. He just graduated last year. So how can he have a 2 years experience? It's impossible. So why are you putting an experience to something you know is not possible? Why? What's going on?
Actually, that is a very wrong concept you have applied in the employment system in Nigeria. It's a very wrong concept, because it's not actually applicable in every scenario. Though even though it's necessary sometimes, but it's not applicable in every situation. But if in that situations, if somebody that just graduated, imagine fresh graduate from maybe university or college or probably the polytechnic, and is out there to seek for a job, and what you are asking him or you are demanding from his CV is that he must have like 5 years experience or 7 years experience before I can get into the managerial position or whatever the situation might be. That is not fair in the first place because it's not going to be possible in such kind of scenario. Why? Probably the person might have that the competence to be able to do the job, and because of the experience, he might be scrapped out. That is why I say that it's a wrong perspective or a wrong concept that is being applied to the employment system in Nigeria. Yes. And now to furthermore talk about that is that I'll put it this way as a form of like probably throwing more light on how probably one can be able to cross such kind of hurdle, because that to me is more like a hurdle, like a challenge at that moment, an obstacle at that moment. So sometimes when obstacles like that happen to you, probably as a fresh graduate or anything, you have to look for a way around to be able to get over it. So I think somehow, to an end to my best of knowledge, if a graduate that is freshly a graduate from a university or whatever situation it is, and you are asked to get some levels of experience, and you don't have that, why not opt for internship programs? Yes, because starting from somewhere is not bad, because everybody actually started from somewhere. Yeah, so you can opt in for an internship program, and in the process of that internship program, you'll find out that maybe 6 months, 1 year, probably as the case may be, and let the internship program be related to your field of expertise, so that in the internship program, because in the internship program, in as much as they will not give you they will not put you into the normal standard remuneration payroll, at least there will be stipends for you. Yes. That of which you can be using to survive for that moment. And in that internship program, you can be there learning or practicing what upgrading yourself, instead of, okay, I went for the job and it demanded how many years of experience, and I don't have it, I'm here at home again. Relax, and that is going to cause effect to you. It's not going to affect the company. The company will keep growing anyway, because even though you are not there or you are there, they must definitely get somebody
better.
Yes, somebody must be there. Thank you. Yes. So somebody will always be there. So for you also not to lose, because let it not be like 2-0. So let it not be like 2-0. For you not to lose totally, at least you have lost one side, then you try and score something so that it will be 1-1. So that is when you have to like offer an internship program. And with that internship program, maybe probably 2 years, 1 year, you can be able to learn up something from there. Yes. And after that internship program, you can add that to your CV. Yes, it will be the 1 year training they are looking for, you have gotten it. It's as simple as that. Or better still, if you know that you are somebody that is versatile with taking challenges, why not indulge yourself in activities that you know that you are passionate about? Yes, you can start a business, grow the business, attain some level of height to the business, and make yourself the CEO. So if you apply with any job and tell anybody that you are a CEO of a particular company, would they doubt you, because you actually run the business? Yes, it's true. You have the skills of running a business. What will it take for you to work with someone that is growing his own business too? So those are the simple things that we can actually opt for in order to substitute those problems or those challenges when it comes to how company treats their employees, or how to employ people regarding to whether not meeting up to the numbers of experience they wanted you to be. Okay, though in some cases it might happen that you might be lucky, but it's in rare cases. But if it always keep happening, why not go opt out for something that can actually help you to upgrade your skills or to upgrade yourself? Because definitely also when you upgrade yourself or upgrade your skills, definitely when you come back, you also come back in a better version. Yes. And sometimes also, maybe the process of the internship program, the company might also decide to slot you in as a permanent staff. Yes. And that is the CV you are looking for has also been, because as you finalize too. They've seen that your company. Let's say in a situation, because sometimes internship can be like you might want to go and you might not have vacancies too. Let's say a situation like that, or you don't have that energy to be able to start up a new business. But to me, I always see it like, or let's say I put it in a suggestion like, why not, if you find yourself in a situation whereby at least you have, you don't pay light bill, you don't pay house rent, you don't take care of any of your expenses, and you know that yes, at this point of my life, maybe a fresh graduate always finds himself in that kind of situation, and at that point of your life, it's just you and you alone. You don't have any responsibility to go through. Why not enroll for a free internship? You can tell the company, walk up to the company, write application to them, tell them that I want to work with you, and I want to work with you for free. Yes. And I don't think any company will reject you there for you to run internship for them, because they're actually looking for people to work to do the internship itself. I don't know whether I'm making sense. So if you tell them that, okay, let's take for example a radio station, and you know that okay, you want to be a newscaster, or you want to be in the media field, and your limitation are as it happened due to probably you don't have the experience. So because maybe they might need experience for those kind of situation. Then you walk up to the radio station and tell them that okay, I'm not here to work to get paid, but let me work and do the work for free. Let me be practicing it for free. Definitely, to some high level of sympathy of humanity, they will definitely allow you there. And when you will do that, maybe 1 year, 2 years, you can actually pick up on there. You can add it to your CV, and it will become the experience you are looking for. Less than 1 year, 6 months, you can get that, and it will be part of what you are looking for. All this why? Yes. There was this story of I forgot his name. Is one of the best radio presenter in America. I think he's still alive today, and he's still in the job too. He has been opting to work with the radio station for the longest, but the opportunity was never given to him. He know that he is good. He know that he can actually do this work, but it was never given to him. What he did was he went to the company and he employed as a cleaner. I get employment, applied as a cleaner. And when he applied as a cleaner, then they allowed him. He was in the company. So when they throw trashes and litter the place, that's when his work starts. And that was what he was doing for some couple of years, but just there from the low level and observing the work ethics around the radio station. Okay, what about if he decides to stay at home? Okay, I've not gotten the job, I'm staying at home. That vision will die to an extent, or that zeal will reduce. But for him now, he has get himself engaged. At least he's in the work environment, in the work ethic. He's now learning. No matter somehow, he's learning. He's seeing the colleagues as they are doing it. At his free time, he'll sit around, he'll observe them from far, even though he cannot get close to them. So there was one particular Facebook day. There was a program that needs to be broadcasted, and the person to anchor the program was now around, and he asked them that he can actually take the lead, and that was how they gave him the platform. The moment he jumped on the mic, the whole city went wild. You see that they want to hear that voice they heard the other day again. That was how calls were coming left and right from the radio station. The radio station don't have any other option than to make him the next presenter. And after they making the presenter, it was now within a couple of days, people loved him. People love his presentation. He's now the most best radio presenter in the whole of America. So that is my own contribution to that particular question, if that satisfies.
You have me today here on Spotlight TV.
Thank you.
Spotlight TV, more than a media platform, a channel of God's word, leadership, culture, and care for humanity. Spotlight TV, shining truth to the world, impacting lives through leadership, culture, faith, and humanity.